Hi, I'm Moses Gumadi, and in this video I want to talk about the essence of Six Sigma. There is a lot of skepticism about Six Sigma, that it doesn't work, that it contains a lot of complicated tools, it is difficult to learn, difficult to implement, or perhaps even that most of the tools that are taught in Six Sigma are not really used. And some people think it doesn't work at all. Right, rarely it works, or maybe it works in manufacturing, in some places, perhaps not everywhere, etc. Right, we have heard all these, criticisms of Six Sigma. Now, I'm not going to talk about that today. Okay, as someone who has, used Six Sigma, taught Six Sigma, implemented Lean and Six Sigma projects and operational excellence initiatives over the last 20 years. Right, having taught 120 black belts, 450 to 500 green belts, mentored a lot of their projects in GE, also in other organizations, Accenture, also my clients in the UK, in the US, and Europe and India. Now, with all this experience, I just want to share a very short summary of the essence of Six Sigma as a problem-solving methodology. Right? This is a management methodology to solve business problems, to solve organizational problems. And so this is what I want to show you this day in this video. Now, let's start with the define. Everyone knows Six Sigma has 5 phases: define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. So I'll use this structure just to summarize what I think about Six Sigma as a methodology. So the first thing, take the customer's view outside in and end to end. So this is the first thing. Whenever you want to approach a problem, try to solve a problem, look at the problem from the customer's view, from the viewpoint of those who want that problem to be solved, and from the viewpoint of those who would get benefited when that problem gets solved. Okay, and also that you need to take an end-to-end view, not just a partial view of the overall situation somewhere in the corner, because local improvement somewhere can get absorbed in the overall slack. Okay, so you need to take an outside-in perspective, you need to take an end-to-end perspective. So this is one of the important lessons of Six Sigma when you frame a problem. Second, purpose and clarity are essential for change. See, again, we're talking about the methodology that is actually used for changing the business, for improvement, to make things better. So when you deploy a change, you need to have a very clear-cut view of what the change might look like. You need to build that vision. You need to gain that clarity as to how it might look like. Of course, it is not possible to do that right in the beginning, but you need to go towards that direction. You need to gain that clarity. You need to make that vision crystal clear. Okay, so purpose and clarity are essential for change. Thirdly, someone's got to have skin in the game. You need to have good sponsors. You need to have someone who would support you through the project and would put the money in, put the organizational support in, provide the resources and all the relevant stuff that are essential to get this change going throughout the project. Okay, you need to have someone who has the skin in the game. All right, that's about the define. Measure. Peter Drucker said, if you can't manage anything that you can't measure. Now, there have a couple of articles that I have read in Forbes, some people questioning that, saying, well, you can't really measure everything. And that may be true. However, look, if you need to get to a position of measuring at least qualitatively, somehow, you need to measure things to some extent. If not, how will you ever know that the thing has changed? You need to have some sort of a sensory perception, whether measurement device or whether observational devices, or whether data or whether perception and surveys, whatever that may be, right? Some sort of sensory thing must be there put into the system in order to detect the change and confirm that the change has occurred and the benefit has been realized or in the process of being realized, etc. Right? So you need to monitor the change. You need to have a way of measuring the change. Second, when life gets blurry, adjust your focus. So most of the times when we try to measure things, or when we try to quantify, or even quantitatively, or even qualitatively, when we look at things, there'll be a lot of haze around, there's a lot of noise around that, right? So you need to make that vision crystal clear. You need to focus your lens. You need to focus and ensure that you're measuring the right thing, etc. So when life gets blurry, adjust your focus. Also, the third thing in the measure is that meet with the same measure. Use the same yardstick, right? In the meter measure is somewhere stored in Paris, for example, 1 meter, right? It's a standard, and they have kept it in a very safe environment so that the temperature and the humidity and other factors won't even affect it to the microns. So they put in a very high controlled environment. No, I'm not suggesting anything like that. What I'm trying to say is that when you measure something somewhere and use a particular measure, you need to ensure that the measurement that you use, right, the yardstick that you use to measure must be consistent. And there's a major lesson, which is quite obvious, really. So that's what measure focuses on. Analyze. Nothing happens without a reason. Nothing happens without a reason. And this is philosophical, right? So this is about cause and effect. Anything in the world that ever happens, remember, there is a reason. You may not know the reason. You may never know the reason. That's all right. But there is a reason. There is a reason for everything. And the reasons need not be top down. Causation need not be only bottom up. It could be top down, or it could be from the middle to the bottom and then rise up, etc. So there are a lot of different kinds of causations. Nevertheless, the point is very simple, right? If something changes, there is a reason. That's the key. So if you are looking at a problem, if the problem that had not been there has now surfaced, right? There is a reason why it has come about. Go investigate it. Right. Now, when you solve a problem, right, you need to find the right levers, and this is a major principle. It's a vital few and not the trivial many. Right. This is the 80-20 principle. Always, almost of the cases, really, there'll be a few key levers that you need to shift and move in order to get that big change going on. You need to identify those levers. Vital few, not the trivial many. The rest of all these levers are trivial, right? So you need to find the vital few. Now, distinguish the signal from the noise. It is sometimes, when analyzing things, when you're looking at the problems and trying to find the root causes, you might be bogged down with little details. You might be confusing or confounding noise to be the real reason. So that's where you need to be very careful. Things change randomly. You need to be aware of that. So don't confuse the noise, random changes, into something, as something which are real factors or real causes. Okay. So distinguish the signal from the noise. Improve. So when we improve things, now that we have found some key levers that need to be moved, etc., when we put in a solution to make a problem better, right, remove the problem or improve the situation, right, or improve a particular number, or improve financial performance, or customer engagement, or customer delight, or whatever those things may be, right? So you put up a plan to improve, and when you do that, these are the things you need to keep in mind. First, stabilize, then change. If your operations are unstable, right, if your business situation is unstable, when the factors are going up and down uncontrollably, right, any change won't yield any results whatsoever. So you need to stabilize before you could change. Second, model the change before changing. This is my favorite. You see, it doesn't mean that you model to the nth degree. The point really is, before you put in the change, right, you need to work out on a spreadsheet or on a piece of paper, or using a calculator, whatever that may be, how the to-be system will look like, how much improvement could it potentially give, how much potential financial benefit could I get, how will the to-be system look like, and how will it behave, is something you need to be able to model, right, before you actually put in the system and deploy it. So you need to create a soft a simulated version of it on a piece of paper or a spreadsheet. And finally, in the improving, you need to remember that in order to improve anything, you need to have the right sort of actions. Move the right levers. Right actions lead to desired results. If you do not get the desired results, it means that you have not found the right levers, or you have not moved the right levers. Or even if you have moved the right levers, you have not moved them in the right amount. Okay, so right actions lead to right desired results. Finally, control. Now that you have improved the problem, right, removed the problem, improved the situation, right, you need to keep it there. You need to ensure that that new solution stands and yields you the benefits it is intended to deliver. So what do? You need to remember this. Things get worse over time, and this is a major principle that we use in Six Sigma. It is taken for granted. Things get worse over time if you do not take care of it. So you need to do something about it to ensure that this automatically getting worse situation won't occur, because you put in some sort of controls, right? Second, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Again, this is linked to the first one, and therefore you need to be aware what can go wrong. And some things that can go wrong may impact very little, and some things there will be always that can go wrong and they impact too much. And so you need to be aware of those major critical things that can go wrong and really ruin the situation, and you need to have a control of that. So the question then finally is, who is at the controls? So this, my friend, is the crux of Six Sigma. This is the essence of Six Sigma. Whether or not you use a complicated hypothesis testing, control charts, or all that stuff, ANOVA and general linear model and design of experiments. These are all very good tools where they're supposed to be applied. It doesn't mean that you apply them every time and all the time, but this is really the crux of Six Sigma, and when used as a management philosophy, you can really expect it to deliver you some good benefits. Thank you for watching.